You're watching ICENET, independently covering New York Islanders hockey past and present, bringing you the tradition and nostalgia you know and love with a modern feel. This is where Islanders tradition and pride are always our number one. Built by passion for the orange and blue. Isles coverage. Taking a step into the future by reaching into the past. ICENET. Dynasties live here.
It's not something that can be seen with the naked eye, but there's a special charm that surrounds this group of hockey players. They're the New York Islanders, an expansion team in only their third season, shown here after eliminating the heavily favored Pittsburgh Penguins. They've become the Cinderella team of this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. But tonight, in Philadelphia, they face not only last year's Cinderella team, the champion Flyers, they also face the Flyers' very own fairy godmother.
This time we ask you to please rise and salute the flag and join in person with Miss Kate Smith as she sings.
The Flyers have a good luck charm. Whenever they play Kate Smith, God Bless America, instead of the Star-Spangled Banner before a home game, they seem to be bathed in the light of a rainbow and are practically unbeatable. They needed her magic tonight in this important seventh and deciding game of the semifinal series, and it came early. After only 19 seconds of play, number 12, Gary Dornhofer, gives the Philadelphia Flyers a quick one-goal lead. And the super excited fans in this jam-packed arena are touching familiar stardust. The Flyers' God Bless America streak stands at 42 wins and only 3 losses going into this game. And with a flair for the dramatic, they only play it before crucial games, as if the magic might go away if they overdid it. By all standards, this is the most important game of the year for the Flyers because this young team of spirited Islanders has unexpectedly challenged them for the right to call themselves the very best. Under coach Al Arbour, New York has gelled into a talented, hard-working hockey team and has earned the respect of the league by refusing to accept their underdog status in the playoffs against the older, more experienced team. After eliminating their crosstown rival New York Rangers, they lost the first 3 games to Pittsburgh in the best-of-7 quarterfinals. But they came back behind sensational rookie goaltender Glenn Resch to win the next 4 in a row and are trying to repeat that miracle here tonight as they brought the first 3 to Philadelphia and incredibly have battled back to tie the series at 3 games apiece. But the Flyers strike again just 2 minutes later on a goal by Rick McLeish. The Flyers had whipped through their quarterfinal series with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 4 straight victories and stretched their non-losing streak to 21 in a row when they took the first 3 games against the Islanders. They seemed invincible at that point, with everything happening for them just the way their innovative coach, Fred Shero, had said it would. But the Islanders simply refused to give up, and matching the Flyers in aggressiveness and determination, they forced them into the 7th game and into the position of having to prove to themselves tonight that their championship season was no fluke. Still charged up from their quick 2-goal burst, the Flyers checked the Islanders all over the ice, keeping them from taking any real good shots on goal, and they seemed to sense the return of their old confidence. At the 5-minute mark, a penalty to defenseman Andre Dupont put the Flyers 2 men down and gave the Islanders their first real chance to test Philadelphia's marvelous goaltender, Bernie Parent. Arbor has taken his Islanders this far by taking advantage of every advantage and by making them believe in every game that their next goal was as close as the next play. And it was. Jude Druin's 6th goal of the playoffs has narrowed the score to 2-1. And now it's the Islanders who feel their confidence returning. They knew the Flyers would come at them with a flying hit start at the beginning of this game, and that if they didn't keep up with them early, Philadelphia was the kind of team who wouldn't let up for a minute the rest of the way. They knew that because the Islanders themselves are that kind of team. Their similarity is no accident. After last year's Flyers had proven that all those locker room mottos really do work, that if a team believes in itself and plays 60 minutes of honest hockey every time out, that if it skates hard and checks hard with every ounce of energy, every shift on the ice, the reward comes in the shape of a multi-tiered silver trophy, the Stanley Cup. But the rest of the league was watching, and the young teams with their young legs and limitless ambition now had an example to follow, along with the belief that if they would work as hard as the Philadelphia Flyers worked, it could bring them a championship of their own. The Flyers knew they were being chased by their own mirror images and had to keep scoring. And once again, Rick McLeish, with his smooth, graceful strides and rifle wrist shot, puts the puck past Resch for a 3-1 Philadelphia lead. Both teams have played over 100 games since they reported to training camp last September, and now it has come down to this one game to see which of them advances into the final round against the Buffalo Sabres, who had just eliminated the Montreal Canadiens in the other semifinal series. The Islanders, who had come so far, didn't want their Cinderella story to end just yet. Not after they had gotten this close and had captured the imaginations of hockey fans all over the country. They knew they had to keep working, keep skating to wait for their opportunities to come along and to be ready for them when they did. The Flyers were protecting their championship and having gained a new respect for this New York team and its hustle. They knew they had to press the action to challenge the Islanders at both ends of the rink for possession of the ice. With each team in the other's way on the narrow road to the Stanley Cup, the cat and mouse game began. when one team had a man in the penalty box, the other players became that much more cautious, clearing the puck carefully, knowing that mistakes in their own end can cause pucks to wind up in their own net. The offensive attacks continued by both clubs, their thrusting, probing, working the puck up ice, only to be stopped by defenses that suddenly tightened up at the blue line. And as the first period ended and the second began, the outcome of this game was still very far from being settled. Like two pedigreed bulldogs chewing and pulling at opposite ends of the same bone, both teams knew that neither would slow down or let go, and that at the end, the one who chewed and pulled harder would wind up with the whole bone. The next 20 minutes of hockey were filled with fast-moving, rink-long rushes, barrages of slap shots that sent the puck streaking toward the net, dazzling saves of sure goals and crunching body checks that vibrated up to the rafters and said a Stanley Cup game was being played in this building. And now, only one more period of regulation time remained. And unless the teams were tied at the end of the game and it went into sudden death overtime, this would be the Islanders' last chance. The Flyers were determined to protect their 3-1 lead, confident that the incomparable Perron would keep these hungry New Yorkers out of his net. And so the last skirmish began. The Islanders knew they had to score some goals, and every time they got possession of the puck, they raced down ice in 2s and 3s, coming back at the Flyers again and again. But the well-trained Philadelphia team has no equal in the league for overall defensive ability, and they turn them away each time. Flyers never lost an opportunity to move in for an extra insurance goal, displaying that quality of the true champion that never takes the pressure off an opponent and never gives him reason to believe for even one moment that there's anything in this game he won't have to work very hard to get. but each tick of the clock brings the Cinderella Islanders one step closer to midnight and to the end of the ball. The Flyers put up a shield of back-checking and forechecking skaters and seldom allow the Islanders a chance to penetrate that Philadelphia blue line. With quick bursts of speed, they dash along the rink, keeping New York off balance and forcing them into mistakes that eat up valuable time. And in the closing minutes, with the Islander goalie off the ice for an extra attacker, Philadelphia's Rick McLeish adds an empty net goal, and the issue is no longer in doubt. 3 years ago, the Islanders were just an idea. A couple of dozen empty uniforms, a supply of official NHL pucks, and a list of names on a piece of paper. But Al Arbour has turned them into one of the most promising and respected teams in the league. The promise they got from Arbour and his coaching, but the respect was something they earned for themselves. And the Flyers, ready now to defend their title in the final round, are also ready to shake the Islanders' hands in a Stanley Cup tradition that grows more meaningful with each season. All-Star Islander defenseman Dennis Potvin after the game.
Well, it's a funny feeling, I had right now, because you sort of think, well, we've lost. We were so damn close. We believe that we could have gone all the way. Just a matter of one game, 60 minutes of hockey, 3 20-minute periods. When you look at it that way, it's hard to take. But then when you look at everything that we've accomplished throughout the season, I think everything that we've proven to ourselves and to our followers and to the rest of the National Hockey League, damn, there's no reason why I shouldn't walk out of this dressing room, my head so high, and feel proud of the hockey club. There's a certain amount of pride in it, and I'm so proud to wear this uniform. It hurts me. It hurts me a lot just to think that I have to take it off for 3 months' time. I mean, the honor it gives me to play in this club is something unbelievable. I just can't wait for September, where we're going to start all over again, and from there we're going to carry it on. A lot of guys are going to be here for a long time. There's going to be a lot of cups on this club.
ICENET. Dynasties live here.